Nothing like a beautiful piece of string from the guitar. Welcome to Intuitive Sundays. Lots going on in the air. The subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime and world events, and deals with historical events involving ancient portals. So we might have some heebie-jeebies coming up through the portals. Disclaimer, all cases, names, people are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. Disclaimer, all numbers used in this case pertain to the case context specifically and bears no resemblance to similar or same numbers you may have in your date of birth. Episode 44.8. Power number 44.8. If you have a power number in your date of birth, like an 11, 22, 33, 44, etc., you are here for a purpose. Your power numbers on one aspect gives you the power, the push, the nudge to complete a challenge, to complete a task, to get over something that is in front of you or that you're dealing with. Power numbers give you the fortitude to accomplish what you need to accomplish. Now, it's not to say if you don't have a power number, you don't have that ability. There are other numbers that will give you that ability. But power numbers are just that, powerful numbers. And the number 8 speaks about communication and gratitude and blessings to all community members. You are amazing. Thank you for participating on the channel. I know I don't say it enough. I appreciate you. Believe me, I do. It's just sometimes we have to deal with them numbnuts that we see on TV screens, playing out on news reports. So this week, I know we woke up to quite a serious tragedy. I always have a problem saying that word, tragedy. Tragedy. It's one of them words that I'll never get right. UPS plane crash. And then I hear later reports, part of the Boeing group. Am I right in saying that? Part of the Boeing group? So let's see what's going on here, because, that was horrific, right? So November 4, 2025, this is when the plane goes down. So it takes off just after 8 a.m., I believe, or we can say the day position. So we see a 15.6 and a 9, followed by a 24.6, 15.6.6. Now, because we start in the second row, we include the first row of the next day. And we have a terrible number there. We have the number 5. Now, don't get the heebie-jeebies if you've got a 5. It doesn't mean you're bad. It depends on where you put your scale. Extreme or balanced or the other extreme. But to have a 5 in a plane crash situation and the unfortunate passing of those on the ground, the footage of that plane coming over is just horrendous. Please excuse the free sound effects in the background, but due to flow and time, I'm going to continue. All right, so 5 is a problem number in this situation because it brings around a number of issues. So one, we can say 5, there's a human hand involved, or a deliberate human hand. So a normal human hand could be this 15.6 here. Oh, Johnny had a bubblus. He had a bit of a heavy night last night. He didn't screw on the shit properly, right? That kind of hand. Or Johnny was very wide awake the morning during maintenance and deliberately only screwed them halfway in. That's the other part, right? Both aren't really good, right? So let's look at the intention. I'm just seeing something else here. November 4. So the day starts with a 4. That's a problem. So let's just go deeper, because I believe there is something sinister going on here, and this is why it pinged on us. I mean, as dramatic as the event was, I almost want to say is, in the intention, right? So what we see on the day in the same position, we have an 18-9 in the middle of the day, 18-9, portal sequence 9s. Now, this is the same sequence of numbers we saw with the Air India episode. Interestingly, so the 18-9, now 18-9 in the positive, I know we speak about it a lot in the negative when we're dealing with crime, but 18-9 in the positive speaks about engineering, 8, engineering, 9, perfection. We see, because I watch a lot of F1, Formula 1, 18-9 pops up often. For example, McLaren last year finished on the number 666, and everyone goes, oh, it's demon, it's the devil number. But if you add them up, 18-9, engineering perfection. And that was their tally for last year. So they've won it already this year. Getting back to aviation, we're saying we have engineering perfection, but then there's another 9 plus 9. So there's a conflict. So in other words, Johnny was anti-engineering perfection on whatever day it was, whatever the situation is. We'll figure it out. But what I'm saying is, we're seeing there's a continuance of negative numbers. We got a conflict here now in the intention. So was there intended to be a conflict? Let's find out. Someone hears me saying out loud. In the turnaround, all right, so we got a 27-9, 18-9, 9 outcome on the day intention. So 279, so 7 speaks about the navigation of the plane, speaks about flight, because 7 is actually flying, right? So we have an aviation issue. In the turnaround, we have an 8. Okay, that seems a bit odd. So yeah, engineering, the mechanics, was there 4? So this 4 at the start of the day, because 4 speaks more about mechanics, the parts that make up the engineering 8. So 4 has a role here. Because these guys, if we think about their schedule, so the plane takes off just after 8, 8:30 or 9, round about there, I believe. I stand to be correct on the time, but it will still fall in the day position. But what I'm getting to is, like on film sets, people get there before. Things are in motion. The plane has been prepped. Whatever the schedule is, the pilots get there 2 hours before. A maintenance crew is there 4 hours before. So there's movement. So we're dealing with the mechanics of the plane. So we can include engine performance. 8 is the engine. So yeah, 8, that's what it is. 8 is the engine. So we know the number 1 engine on the left-hand side of the plane fell off, right? As it was taking off. All right, so now in the action, this is, let me just make sure. Yeah, 10, beg your pardon, okay. So November 10 would serve as now if you're new to the channel and listening or watching visually, I'm saying November 10, but I'm going to look at it retrospectively as the hidden action under November the 4th of the actual day. So in the zone, outwardly, we got 12-3. Everything's cozy. Everything's working. Everything's hunky-dory. The plane reached V1, right? And it was in between V1 and what are they? I don't know what the next one is, rolling or like the next one they are taking off, and that's it. Post V1 as well, they can't stop apparently. I've been watching Captain Steve. Very good on YouTube, Captain Steve. So outwardly 12.3, everything hunky-dory. Hidden 21.3. So it's this. Here's another clue that would suggest something was not right at takeoff or on that day or in that moment. Something was not right. So 3 can speak about the combustion because Captain Steve said there could have been a combustion issue from engine 1 that caused the blades to shoot across, hit the other engine, because the other engine was also problematic. Engine 3 was also problematic. It was having like backfiring during takeoff. So this engine 1 malfunctioned completely. 8. So the intention, in the intention we see the engine. And unfortunately we see a 30 outcome 3. Now that's an explosion. Any number with like a 0, 10, 20, 30 is an explosion or bomb. Each 10 or a 20 or a 30 is a different type of bomb. 3 is chemicals. And we know it was fuel, there was oil, there was an oil deeper on the ground, sustained fire oil. With the petrol in the plane, that ball of fire is gone because now it's evaporated most of the fuel. But there were bloody oil tankers on the ground, sustained fire. Now that hidden 21.3 is now open, revealed as the outcome on hidden in November 4 outcome. So now the issue is now visible, unfortunately. Yeah, now this is action, right? Here is where there is a big problem. In the turnaround, we have an 11.2 plus an 11.2 conflict. Quick recap. The day the plane takes off, 15.6, speaks about human error. Human that has created the accident, a human. In the intention, just a quick recap. In the intention, what did I want to point out here? We got the 9 plus 9 conflict, so there's problems. We got a hidden 21.3. In the turnaround of the action, we've got an 11.2, 11.2 conflict. Now, I'm just checking for something, and excuse the pause, but this isn't instant TV. I'm just checking other numbers. So 11.2, 11.2 conflict. So if we look at maintenance issues, right? Maintenance issues. So followed by, after this conflict, there's 4. So that speaks about the mechanics maintenance. So here's the issue. 11.2, I almost want to say, is knowing, Boeing. Guys, we got to pump 5 planes out a day. We know the story, right? Pressure test when it comes to maintenance times, worse than Amazon. If you think working at Amazon's bad, try Boeing. Allegedly, with my own sprinkles on popcorns. So knowingly illegal. 11.2 is a legal issue. Someone is legally liable for what has transpired here, because it would also imply that there's knowledge that Johnny only uses a 1/4 inch grease on the nuts instead of all of the grease. However mechanics works, right? And Johnny's supervisor goes, "Tick, You are ready to fly. So we got an 11-2. This is a serious conflict here. Let's see if I can pick up any more information. So in the +9, all is revealed. So we see the 15-6 hidden 2-4-6. So there's the 4, definitely a mechanical issue. One can even include parts that causes. So 6 speaks about thrust, right? So in the same position as where there's a mechanical problem. So 21-3 is that Fong Kong parts. You know some of these mechanics? We this logo and we this logo, bring your car here. And then they go to Johnny around the corner who sells them for half the price and half the quality. So was there a quality parts issue? I don't know everything about engines. So in other words, what should have been a working familiar engine, because everyone says this has never happened in 100 years. Or it happened in the 70s, right? So are they using we'll just make the parts ourselves instead of going to the actual people to get it. Do you know what I mean? Cheaper at the corner shop. So we see a 33.6, double 3 can speak about both thrust engines. There was a third, but not enough to sustain that load. 33.6. So here's confirmation, unfortunately. The all is revealed final number, 14.5. This now speaks about, can speak about two things actually. One, fraud. If we consider 11-2 something's illegal, or which includes Fong Kong parts, dare I say. Fong Kong parts. Now, the alternative is 14.5 pings more on that 15.6 on the day that says Johnny knew he had to do only half a screw on that whatever. Does that make sense? Either way, universe is showing there's a very illegal thing about what caused this plane to come down. Like, what I'm feeling, the type of law that can lose your license for flying type of stuff. So, very suspicious numbers around here. And 24 hours ago, I heard Boeing is the carrier. And they've just settled a couple of more lawsuits recently as well. I think there's a few more outstanding. Imagine that process. 4, 5, 10 years. People just want to get on with their lives, but the corporate bullies and the cheapskates that own all the money in the world anyway and have all the military licenses and contracts. Don't worry, civilians are casualties of war because we're just testing things for real-time war. We make more money in war. Just saying. Anyway, so there's definitely a very illegal thing about this accident and a very tragic one, unfortunately. All right, Melody says it's her turn. So 2 pieces of information this week. If you've been following the Melody Buzzard case, who unfortunately has been missing. Apparently, this is one of the new bits of information that I heard this week. Now, last spotted October 9. So we're going to look at that. And then on Friday, her mom was arrested. But arrested on a different charge, one of she prevented someone from leaving, and there's a serious law around that. So be that as it may, what I wanted to look in terms of melody is, all right, if she was last seen on the 9th, so now what I've done is, if you're watching the visual, I've put a solid blue column only on the 9th. Previously, I'd read October 7th till 10. I said October 8th and 9 were the 2 days I feel where there's a turnaround. But now we've got confirmation October 9. So October 9, I'm just beg your pardon, I'm verifying context or the information given in relation to what I'm seeing in the numbers. So we can say October 9, in the intention, in the day position, we see 13-4. There's a child number. So we can start saying, okay, there's perhaps some truth to the finding. Let's have a look. Hidden 22-4. Hidden plan. So the evening before, I'm just looking what happens the evening before, which would be October 8th. So the evening before, 30, outcome 3, Mama Bear having an outburst here. Overnight, everything seems okay, 13-4. Then followed by 31-4, 22-4, 13-4. All right, that's not good. See, there's this 15-6 that I spoke about, the acquaintance. There's a 15-6 in play here. I wonder, the immediate feeling that I got when I looked at October 9, and you know the case with the young Australian, Phoebe, thank you. The two owners or main renters of the house who supposedly took her to the airport kind of staged the event. So I wonder if she may have staged the event. What is the concrete proof that it was her in the car? The same goes with Maddie Soto. She was driven around during the morning, wasn't she? Oh, we saw her in the car. Okay. Because in the same time, when this is going down, there's a 999 in the zone here, which means, and again, something has not gone according to perhaps she intended or thought things would go. And causing the heebie-jeebies in the action is a 15-6. Now, they mentioned there's family in that route that she took. So the night before, when she has a blowout, there are family numbers, 24-6, 15-6. So does a cousin or an uncle or whatever, probably a cousin or friend of the family now involved? See, the reason why I say we need definitive proof is because in the action there's a 16-7. 16-7 is also, we can say, as the comedian, is camouflage, made to look like. 16-7, let's just suspend what we know about the narrative, right? 16-7 is a kidnapping number. Hidden, it's not an abduction number. Abduction's 21-3. 16-7 is a kidnapping for ransom or money. So I'm just saying something's off here, odd. Hidden, 25-7. So we can say who's the father here? Because 257 can bring around the parents well, the grandmother says she hasn't seen Melody for 4 years or something. How's that even possible? But it's showing that there's a conflict between two parents. Parents can also be used, generally speaking, caregiver. Well, let's say more parent. Or let's say if there's a sister or a grandmother that is appointed by the court to look after the kid. Foster family of the like. But there's too many 16/7s around here. That for me is a problem, man. So look what happens if and unfortunately the +9, we see all trafficking numbers. The day supposedly when she spotted 19-10-1. Okay, but so if Melody is seen October 9, and it's all supposed to be transactional, 19-10-1, supposed to be. The next morning, Melody's mom is still waking up with a 10-1 issue. So, again, it perhaps reveals that I'm not trying to cover my own steps, but I mentioned previously in the episode on its own, you know, you have this wannabe criminal, clearly in the either selling or I don't know what she's doing with the daughter, but there's money involved. And unfortunately, the daughter didn't come back. So where's the daughter? So did she sell her daughter? But the problem is we have those triple nines, so something doesn't go down. And that 13-4, because it's already shown as 31-4, a 31-4 doesn't pop up on the same day. 31-4 is a decomposed body. And, you need 12 to 24 hours, whatever. I'm not a doctor. But that 13-4, that is a red herring. It's a red herring. Why? To take away from where she was before. So police need to look at the stop before now we saw her in the car on October 9. Maybe that's why there was that odd detour to Kansas, just to throw them security people off. I would look at the previous stop or where the GPS was the night before she's supposedly seen, and we will find the nest, the hornet's nest. Motherfuckers. Melody's mother during the week was spotted with moving boxes. Not even an attempt at getting people together, local community. Oh, we were driving around the corner in the evening when I got back from the shops. Gone. Let's go try find her. Nothing. Only she got moving boxes from Amazon. Okay, shit didn't go according to plan. Because wannabe criminals want to pretend to be high and mighty. And then when they get to the real deal, those guys don't give a fuck. Because now they've got evidence that she was doing what? Let's go to the calendar and not necessarily do a deep one. But in the tradition, I feel it is necessary because the past week or two, I've just been so, when I do a reading, and gratitude and blessings for those for the bookings. But But I do one reading or I do one episode and it feels like my whole body is depleted, It's a problem with these people with power numbers. They just push themselves to the edge. So I thought, what I'm getting to, long story short, we're going to take a break. We're going to play some music, get whatever you need to get. So I figured we're going to play a song. And it's going to be 1 minute 46, so get what you need. Let's take a mini break, regain some strength and focus. All right, what a beautiful piece of music. I hope you enjoyed it. Really gets the dust off them feathers. All right. All right. Now, if you're watching the visual, there's this microscopic visual. Let's open it up. It's Emmanuel's father. What a prick. Convicted on Monday, November the 3rd, 25 years. What about the other children he abused? Were there other deaths? Wasn't there another death as well? 14, 5, 23, 5, 45. It looks like, so I'm looking in this would be the action. There's also 29/11/2. Oh my goodness. Surely the wife is responsible as well. So here's the wife, 20 outcome 2, crying her eyes out. But there's a 29/11/2. Did she turn witness? I'm sensing she may have turned witness, but surely she's complicit. I believe she may be even part of I'm being cautioned. Justice will be done. There is an 11/2/2. The reason why I'm concerned, in November 9, there's a 999 year, which says, if you wanted to be more of a solid case, you wouldn't have those 999. So did the wife give up? I don't know. Surely she's complicit. Well, who's the judge? Who wants to be a judge anyway? Let's see what's going on. 9. Jeez. So, funny enough, in the -1 of the +9. So, in other words, this would have happened on Sunday, November the 2nd. There may have been a deal made here. Now hidden is that 11-2 conflict. So as complicit, so there's a hidden 20 outcome to the mother issue. So are they saying she gives evidence against him? They let her go for the sake of the rest of the family, the rest of the kids, by the looks of it. I don't know. That doesn't look good. All right, what a soddy is. 25 years. So I thought for a bit of royal update, Jeannie and Beatrice are spotted for the first time since Daddy's pedophile has been brought into public again. And on the same day, Charles officially takes him off the roster. No more royal, you common folk. So in the middle, interesting, we have the 17-8, followed by 26-8, 17-8-8. Now, last week I looked at the sisters. They both have dominant 8s, so there's a lot of 8s going on around here. Impact is on them because Daddy has now lost his royal key. 17-8. Now, when you're dealing with 8s, and in particular with the facade of the royal family, hidden reptilia, vampiri. See, the day before, vampiri conflicts, and if you watch Ancient Portals London, I discovered Beatrice is from vampiri side. So the night before, they're sitting by their coffins waiting to hear the news because they know what the news is. There's the vampiris. 17-8-8, as the facade goes, is about heritage, family lineage. No more cockroaches in my den, says the lizard. Cockroaches, he's referring to the vampiris. Vampiris are like the bloodsuckers on big sharks, right? 6, starting the day, divorce, disconnect, you've been cut off, and the girls give each other a hug for everyone to see. They knew this day would come. They knew this day would come. It was a matter of time. Just checking source where I'm getting this information, because that's just coming from, you know where, Meta World. Sounds like one of my family members. Stop being the giddy goat. Stop being the giddy goat, you motherfuckers. So, Daddy's out. Sisters are... Well, Beatrice apparently was spotted at some fundraising. Don't worry, Beatrice. We've got a hive here for you. Don't worry. You can bring your coffin box here. And the very next day in the +1, interesting, is Andrew, well, the thing we know as Andrew, are they teleporting back? The next day, portal sequence, 18-9, we got a 7 that starts the key of the portal sequence. 7 is your royal dickness, your royal highness. So, royal family member been excommunicated via portal. 279, you've had 2 chances, you dirty bastard. Thinking about China. So the day before the officialdom, Here's all the Chinese numbers, 16-7, 16-7. Shit, are they going to find out what we were getting from Prince Andrew? Oh, did you hear today? Prince Andrew took the Chinese delegates on a tour through the royal family, through Parliament, through the dirty books of MI6 and 5, making a bit of dough there on the side. So Andrew's out. Portal sequence. Queen Elizabeth will accept him on the other side, wherever that is for these motherfuckers. The Royal Hoax Show hosts that we can fool the world with these things. Cockroaches and all. I want to just check something. So in the intention, it's caused quite a bit of a stir. We find the 999s, all the 11-2s, that's the royal numbers, 11-2s. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Send him back to Guangguang or whatever the fucking place is. 12-3. That reptile doesn't know how to behave, yeah. He must go back to working in the farms at Guangguang. In the +6. Oh, here's confirmation. We've been hearing about this a lot. So this is the day Charlie Boy says to his brother, we're not going to take this anymore. Let me just make sure. 12. Yeah. So we've been hearing about this a lot, right? The inner group and outer group. In the +6, visible. 14-5. The inner group. Well, visibly we can say the reptile we know as Charlie Teapot. And we can then say the 15-6, also 15-6 now, by the way, I believe is Prince William, as we know Prince William. He did a dirty deed to what we know as Kate. They will not tolerate it regardless. As we know it, William will always be king. William will always be king, as we know it. They just get some other dumb motherfucker to fill that space, right? Or the next up and coming, oh, he's reached level 2. Let's give him a chance and be William. You know what I mean? Oh, you won the lottery. Oh, okay, cool. Where are you going? Remember that movie? About the clones? Oh, we won a trip. We went a week away. We don't have to live in these tunnels and shit. Hidden 23-5. So all the lizards in the background, the people that rule the royal family. Be observant when you watch the royal family out there, right? So when they're out and about, their assistants and the people supporting them aren't necessarily their assistants. They are the watchers. Make any bad move, we're going to zika. Like the poor, I believe, she just reminded me, the Mexican model, actress, gets invited to a 10-1 party, the elite party. What happens? They start having hors d'oeuvres. Turns out these hors d'oeuvres are not what you'd find in your supermarkets. Maybe you do if you go drive-through McDonald's. So she runs out the next day at a press conference and shouts out, the elite are cannibals. They were eating humans. Ghastly shit happening in the world. Then followed by 32-5, destruction. So the actor playing Prince Andrew, I think you took things a bit too far there, Mr. Lizard or Reptile or whatever the fuck it is. He has been sent back through portal time. Gonna go serve time on planet Guak Guak. That's what happens when you want to be a royal. 12. So in the All is Revealed, 15-6. That's an odd number. Stand in, eh? He's already been dealt with. Followed by 16-7, Zik Zik, portal sequence, Zik Zik, on planet Gug. So the two Vampiri sisters are out doing charity work, huh? All right. We are now going to go to a cold case that I stumbled upon. Yara Gambriasio, who at the time, how old was she actually? 13. Okay, backstory. There's controversy around the case. That's why. And I did a search on Netflix. You can get it on Netflix as well. There's a documentary series. Now, in terms of the documentary, I've only watched like the first 5-10 minutes to get a sense of the narrative and the conflict in the story. And then I watched a YouTuber do a story on Yara. So, story goes November 26th. Now, she's like a gymnast, right? So she does dancing and gymnastics. She, on this evening, November the 26th, she takes the speakers back to the gymnastics arena, or the arena where everyone is. There's classes going on, the teachers are there, everyone's there. According to narrative, it's a normal thing to do. She's walking maybe 800 yards, drops the speakers off and meant to come home. Problem is, she didn't return home. She was last seen in the gymnasium. And then, unfortunately, just to remind myself, because I haven't done a deep dive, unfortunately, is then discovered 3 months later, deceased. Now, there has been someone arrested for this, which would indicate the 40 outcome 4. Do you see there? So the narrative, current narrative, there's an elder male, would be like a father figure. He was old enough to be her father. Let's put it that way. So it's revealed as 40 outcome 4. So on one hand, and we're going to go deeper for those that know the case, one could say, okay, well then they've got the right person, right? But there's a problem because there's DNA evidence of 2 people involved. DNA evidence, as the narrative goes, DNA evidence, which is blood, of the male at the crime scene. Then there's also blood, more DNA on her jacket of her teacher. In other words, the person she was going to that night, her instructor's blood is found on her jacket. How's that possible? But as the narrative goes, only the male is arrested and sentenced to, forget the term now, beg your pardon. Now, what I want to do is, was the female teacher involved in some way or form? Because, I beg your pardon, it was the teacher's blood on her jacket. Yeah, I think to that effect, or her blood on the teacher's jacket, something to that effect. There was cross-pollination of the teacher's DNA where it shouldn't have been. And it was like a spray effect. If you look at the DNA markers on the jacket, all over the arm, all over the chest, all over the arm, other arm. According to the narrative, blunt force trauma. And no sexual activity as far as the record shows. Now, why? I'm not going to go through every detail because we can go watch the docu on that. I'm going to point out issues here. In the turnaround, because it happens on November the 26th in the evening, we include the next 2 rows of the following day. So in the intention, Why? There's a chaos of threes here. There's a chaos of threes, and there's a 30 outcome 3. Now, on the one hand, we can say there's a feminine outburst that would be considered a mother or mother figure. Now, if you consider she would have been 13, and you got an adult teacher, and you got an adult male suspect, reflects as the 30 outcome 3. So why is this woman having an outburst? Now, we're talking about we are in the crime scene. We are in the crime scene here. This is not Yara's mom waiting at home because she hasn't been home now for 2 hours. This is in the crime scene. Now we've got some other disturbing numbers. So in other words, why? It can't be Yara having this outburst. She's not 30 outcome 3. Yeah, she is here, 13-4. 30 outcome 3 is the adult. So why? Okay. So what is going on here? In the turnaround in the actual November 27, 2010, there's a 27-9 here. So what are there 2 sevens creating a murder? 2. Where did I see it? In November 27, in the action, reveals hidden, this is like a double hidden, 29-11-2. Oh, there's it, yeah. The day starts with November 26th. It's another 29-11-2. On the day starts with 29-11-2. So there's been a pact between 2 people, then followed by about 13-4, a child. Then followed by 43-7, made to look like something, perhaps the way she was found, and where she was found and how she was presented and how so on was staged. How do we know it was staged? So what I'm getting to, there was an initial crime scene. One of Yora's friends says they saw her in the gymnasium, yes, but they never saw her leave. Now, if your friends, and apparently Yara was a very vocal child, always kept in communication with her mom, surely she would have gone, Sarah, see you later, bye, I'm going, or even a wave or something. So her friend says they never saw her leave the gymnasium. Now the heat is also part on the woman teacher that had blood on the jacket. There's a hidden 50 outcome 5. I just wonder if there's a cover-up here. Perhaps the case I should watch the whole series on documentary, but on surface level, in terms of the narrative of the crime, we got problems here. And even worse, there is a collective knowledge of her crime. So, once again, 40 outcome 4 perhaps is the fall guy, same as the Delphi case. I forget his name now. Not important. Who murdered Abby and Libby. Now we have someone else taking the fall because there's other strange numbers here. Numbers like 33-6. Sacrifice. 46-10-1, 37-10-1. That is town knowledge. There's it there. 48-12-3, 47-11-2, 46-10-1. Town knowledge. Same with our young lass. She just pinged on me from the UK that I did a case recently. In her case, she went to go buy a box of cornflakes at the shop. Do you remember that case? I beg your pardon with the name. I can see her face. Lindsay. Buys a box of popcorn. Buys a box of cornflakes. Last ever time seen on CCTV footage. Strange numbers like these. Same here with Yara. So if we go on the narrative that it was the lone elderly man, well, he was middle-aged, elderly man in relation, obviously, in relation to Yara, is the only person that commits the crime, okay? But yeah, we see a deal has been made between two people. The event is staged, made to look like whatever the narrative says. The guy was driving in his truck, may have picked her up on the way home and whatever. Okay. She was targeted. Now, the narrative says her mom insisted she go and take the speaker there, right? We got another number, hidden 44-8, all by design, planned, premeditated, on the actual day, evening, 22-4. The night before this goes down, we have a 18-9 portal sequence 3. Okay, this is weird. In the +1, so this is now, because we're in the turnaround, the next day, in terms of the chart, begins at the end of November 27, beginning 28. There's a 28-10-1 here. What has been signaled or messaged? And followed by 42-6. Terrible number around children, 42-6. 33-6. By someone familiar, 15-6, the family. 42, I'm not saying the family, but familiar. 15-6. There is more to meets the eye, in my opinion, around Yara's case. That not only involves a woman in the middle of the crime scene, but more than, this is like a group of people. So more than 9, are you telling me more than 9 people? A group would constitute 9+ in terms of numbers, 10-1. 14-5 is a small group, so yeah, they are here. In the intention, 14-5, so there's a group at the crime scene. 14-5, there's a group at the crime scene that assist with the 41-5, 32-5, destroying of evidence and manipulating the body. So 14-5 goes, let's say for argument's sake, up to 8 people. Okay? Once you get into 10-1, it's 10 and, more. So so while the smaller group is at the actual scene, there's another group that would be aware and waiting for the results or participate in the results. We got 33.6 here. There's a whole ritual going on here. Motherfuckers, eh? Oh, someone says, let's look at the Grammys. Fuck the Grammys. I just wanted it as a tongue-in-cheek. Yes, it's the Grammy time again. Get all your money ready. The demonic, satanic people want your money. Oh, these are the top 4 songs from every category. Go buy them. Download. What are they saying? Oh, so look, the announcement goes out on a portal sequence, 18.9. Stack of 9s, 27.9, 18.9. Wow, hey. Sending a message to Planet Gook Gook. Please get the following clones ready. The top nominations are... Imagine that scenario. Oh, fuck. There was a fault with that one. Okay, she can't make it this year. On behalf of the clone that couldn't make it, I'll accept the award. So the intention, look here in the intention, ladies and gentlemen, here's a big surprise. 10-1 are making an announcement. The 10-1s, those that rule the world, that take your tax dollars and your dollars. Oh, did you hear Taylor Swift was out with Meat Sack the other night? Oh, getting ready probably for another studio album. Get your money ready, people. Them demons are going to come and make you buy all them shit. Everything's fine. 12.3 on the outward. But there's a problem. 21.3. We need more money. 30 outcome 3. There's the hive. And all them witchy numbers. In the action, so 13.4, message going out, stand by everyone, message. It seems normal. Message coming in from the hidden 24.6, Vampiri. There will be a feast coming soon, 33.6. Start sharpening your teeth. Yang. All right, let's see. 16.7. Vampiri Night. Grammys, the Vampiri Night. Them California hills, may they burn. There's 2 big readings here. Tampa Bay. Well, we won't go too big, but Tampa Bay, there's a problem here, unfortunately. Now, you could say, well, it's just another car crash. It's just another New Orleans New Year's Eve party. There's something very strange about the numbers around here. I'll just go through the numbers. You can tell me if I've lost it or something. I know it's pretty recent, so the event happened this past Friday evening, beg your pardon. Where are we? So you'll see, if you're watching the visual, I've already done all the red arrows, right? So just to help me see where I'm going. So in the evening, unfortunately, Friday evening, starts off as 2 vehicles speeding along a highway. I'm not 100% familiar with the highway name, so beg your pardon. In Tampa Bay, Florida, 2 cars are speeding. One goes off in another direction. One unfortunately lands up in the part of town and veers into a crowded restaurant. And unfortunately, it's one of those busy restaurants where sitting outside is popular, right? Standing outside, sitting outside, and this car goes right into them. And unfortunately, there's several fatalities and bad injuries. All right, so on the surface, we reveal in the midnight to sunrise position the number 8. That can speak about the physical nature of the violence. 8 speaks about the violence on the human body. The problem followed by 1910-1. The start of the sequence starts with the 18-9, preceded by 27-9, and we're in a portal sequence, right? That's interesting. So there were 2 cars, right? But there's also 999s. Were both cars meant to go into town? All right, maybe I'm fishing. Let's go see. 10. So yeah, in the intention is 30, outcome 3. And then we're going to the turnaround 11-2, 11-2. Conflict. There's something very strange about this accident. The reason why it makes it even more strange is we have a hidden 22-4, hidden agenda. So in other words, it's starting to lean towards that car wasn't randomly. They let's say, as the narrative goes, right, they intended to race on the highway, but they never intended to hit where they were, right, where it ended up. But it's saying, it's leaning towards that this may have been intended, believe it or not. In the action, 33-6. In the turnaround, so this is the midnight position, hidden 14-5, followed by 16-7. Now that 16-7 is where the problem comes in. All right. I'm just looking at the +9 first, beg your pardon for the delay. There's definitely a problem with this situation. So we find a 17-8. Okay, so 17-8 technically, we have 7, which is the vehicle. We have 8, which is the biology. Let me just see the day before. You see, there's not a lot of 6s here. Now, why am I saying that? 6s would reveal an accident. 6, the number 6 is an accident. So in the action, we see the 6s. Okay? But we're not seeing it where it's supposed to be. Yes, that's what happened. There's 6s here for maybe another reason. But in my mind, there should be 6s on the day of the event. So in the concluding the zone, 19-10-1, hidden 28-10-1. So this is a little bit too perfect for my liking, is what I'm getting to. This, and then a hidden message in Florida of all places, right? And we have the number 17-8, right? Have you watched the 17-8 series on my channel? 17-8, following the 17-8. And who was targeting who was the target? Trump. What is the message here? I'm picking up my sense about this. Yes, and I saw before recording this, they have, and he's 22. He's 22 years old. By the way, Trump is part of the 22 group as well. If you watch how he positions his hands when he does his big talks, right? Pointing down. He's 22 years old. Hidden action 33.6. 14.5. Bullshit in the air. This is like, you know why there's an 11 plus 11-2 conflict in this case? We've discussed Boeing, but in this case, you know why there's an 11-2 conflict? Because it's lawmakers and people in higher-ups that are involved here. And they themselves have broken the law by doing this. Motherfuckers. Does it have something to do with the shutdown? All right, so something's definitely up in Tampa Bay. I'm going to leave that story for later. It feels a bit heavy. I've done quite a bit. There's definitely something wrong with the Tampa Bay issue. And interestingly, if you know, you know, the Eyes Wide Shut community, Tampa Bay, their logo is the skull and bones. Really? Some would say, no, it's not the skull and bones. It's just two keys and a keyhole. Yes, you need your keys to your next level and all the bullshit. But it's the skull and bones community. What is going on there? The shutdown going on a bit too long, hey? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this might be a long episode. I'm not going to check the time. Thank you so much for your time and your patience. Let's hope the energy situation picks up better. It should now. 10-1s, coming out of October. It's a big energy month. Now we're going into the 11-2s. I should start feeling a bit better. But all good in the hood. And I'll see you in the week. And may you stay blessed. And may you remain guided. And may we all be led by spirit if we choose. I leave you with this song. Bye for now.